What do they think about you is today's question. They can mean anyone. It can be a specific person that you're thinking of now, or it can be a group of people. Go ahead and take a moment to make your selections between these two groups. Here you have group number one, door number one, and here you have group number two and door number two. Pick your group. I'm going to include the timestamps in the description and in the comment section for you. Door number one, here are your tarot cards. We also have three oracle cards that we're going to utilize. So we start with the very first card. What do they perceive in you? Three of water. This is the card of celebrations, community, and friendship. So they perceive someone who is a very good friend. This is the kind of person you can call and for a good time. This is the kind of person that believes in community, friendships, always available for a good time. Then we move on to the second card, the Two of Earth, which speaks of balance, someone who knows how to prioritize things. And there's a sense of playfulness, right? So interesting that you did get the Three of Water, which talks of celebrations and community and friendships. Then you have playfulness. There's a child here as well, just, playing and not even worrying if they're going to fall or not. There's a sense here of a little bit of chaos, but also balance. And so there's definitely an image here of someone who likes to have fun, someone who's very balanced. Now, you did get the Seven of Earth inverted. And whenever the Seven of Earth comes out inverted, what we have is a perception of someone who does not make wise investments. Maybe this is someone who spends a little too much money on frivolous things. Maybe this is someone who's not responsible with money. So the perception is this person spends money on dumb stuff, right? This person doesn't invest in appreciating assets. This person invests in depreciating assets. And also they're not very patient. So they lack when it comes to wise investment decisions. And I feel like with assessment, it's like they think that maybe potentially you're not very savvy when it comes to your finances. So that is one area that's showing up here that's a bit on the negative side, but again, very positive with celebrations, community, friendships. You're a very good friend. They perceive someone who's balanced and playful, just not very good with money. Now we move on to the archetype cards. These cards are going to give us a better understanding of the archetypes that they perceive whenever they look at you. Now, the first archetype is the card of gossip. This card came upright. And the light attribute is awakening to considerations for feelings of others and honoring trust. So you are a trustworthy person, okay? I know gossip can be a pretty chaotic word, but essentially it did come upright. So the light attribute takes effect. And what we have here is someone who believes that, hey, people are important. Protecting people are important. So there's a sense here of trust, honoring trust, and being considerate. So that is what they perceive in you. We can avoid the shadow attribute for this one. Then we move on to guide. This card was also upright. So the light attribute is perceived by them. And the light attribute represents the nature of the divine life and in yourself. So there's a sense here of giving into a higher power. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there's this sense of reckless abandonment that leads to prosperity. Sometimes people get too worried, too caught up with the darkness, and too just, static. And so I feel that this person kind of perceives this divinity in you where you're able to have fun, you're able to express yourself, you're able to open up. It's like you understand how to fully embrace the energies of the here and now, be playful, be welcoming, right? Sociable. These are qualities that not a lot of people have because they're in constant worry mode. So very interesting card to get. Now we did get the Hermit inverted. And so the Hermit, whenever we get an archetype inverted, we have to look at the shadow attributes. And what we have here is withdrawals from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, refusing to help those in need. So sometimes they do perceive that you can be a bit withdrawn to certain types of people, maybe certain situations, or just certain there's just certain energies that you try to avoid. And so sometimes they've seen that in you. You withdraw from society and there's a sense of fear or negative judgment. And so there's almost a balance here, right? When we look at the guide, when we look at this representation of connecting with divinity and connecting with life, and then we have here a perceived, basically a person that is withdrawn and does not give of themselves. So when you shut off, you shut off. You don't open yourself up to anybody. And so there's a sense here refusing to help those in need. It almost feels like, with this perceived understanding of you not being very good with money, it's almost like they know you're not really using your money or your resources to really help anyone. You might just be spending it frivolously. So again, more good than bad, but that is what I see here. Group number 1. Welcome, group number 2 and door number 2. We've got here a combination of tarot cards as well as archetypical cards that give a better picture of what they think of you. So we'll start with the very first one. We've got the Six of Air. There's keywords attached to this card, which speaks of relief, hope, and moving on. You are someone who they perceive to be very hopeful in life, right? You are someone who essentially is able to move past any limitations, any problems. You get to the other end successfully. You don't linger on trouble. You don't linger on fear, and you don't linger in this energy of self-doubt or limitations. You move forward, and you're very good at doing this. Then we move on to Justice. Justice speaks of fairness, the law, and karma. You are a fair person. When they look at you, they say, okay, this is a fair human being. We can talk to them. We can communicate effectively. We can even provide them with responsibilities, because this is the type of person who essentially is trustworthy. We can trust them. They're not going to harm us. They're not going to stab us in the back. We can trust this person. Karma. And then we move on to the King of Fire. I love this energy. This is the card of inspiration, charismatic, innovative. Now, it means essentially that they see you as someone who's very inspiring. The King of Fire is a leader. He is the King of Kings. There's an energy here of leadership, moving forward, which is why they want to hand you responsibilities, right? They see someone very responsible, so they want to give you responsibilities, because you can manage a team, you can manage a household, you can manage because you are an inspirational leader filled with charisma, and you're also very innovative. The King of Fire is. So a very interesting 3 tarot cards that we got here all came up right. Very positive sign. Now we move on to the archetype cards. This one came upright as well, and it speaks of selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. So it feels like you're someone who's connected to a divine source. There's a sense here of spirituality, someone who's highly spiritual, someone who is wise, understands certain topics and certain things that other people just don't. So again, we go right back to that leadership. It's almost like you have these leadership qualities that people look up to, and it comes from your connection with a divine source, being spirit. Now, your other 2 cards did come out reversed, so we have to take into consideration the shadow attribute of it, since it is reversed. So what we have with the shadow is an inability to commit to a path once found. So they perceive that you are a leader. They perceive that you are someone who's very powerful, fair, very beautiful qualities. But with the shadow attribute of the seeker, it's almost like you get stuck in a certain kind of way, and you want to just try and keep at it. Sometimes you don't know when to stop. You don't know when it's time to move on. You want to keep going and keep going. It's almost like, a horse with those blinders on. They just want to look forward, and they don't want to look anywhere else, because they know that they can have success. And more than likely, yeah, you can have success, but it's almost like sometimes they perceive that you are unbendable. You don't want to change. You want to continue on this path, even if it might be detrimental, which I don't think it would be detrimental. You see success at the end of the rainbow, but sometimes people just need you to move on, and you're unable to do it. Then we move on to the final card, which also came out reversed. We have here the Pioneer, and there's a compulsive need to keep moving on. And so we have a bit of a balancing message here with the shadows and the shadows here, right? So it almost feels like when you find something that you truly want, it can become a bit compulsive. And so they're kind of perceiving this energy of you that's a bit chaotic and obsessive in some regard. But yeah, we definitely have someone here who they view as very powerful, leadership qualities even.